What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to solve and plot the sine graph. I'm going to use the 2020 wire question, and if you have any question, as usual, make sure you drop in the comment box down below. In case you need the complete solution of 2019 wire and 2020 wire, you can check it in my channel. I have solved such. So in that case, let's give it a try. Alright, question 6. The question says, copy and complete the table of values for the relationship y is equal to 3 sine 2x, right? So in this case, we have been given, some have been done for us, that is this, and this. So now what we're going to do here, we're going to actually use this equation to solve for these ones. So wherever, that means whenever you see x, at first we're going to put 15 degrees here, 30 degrees, and so on and so forth. So with that, we know that the equation has been given as y is equals to 3 sine 2x. So now let's go. Now we'll start with 15 degrees. So for x equals to 16, x equals to 15 degrees. So we're going to have y is equals to 3 sine 2 into 15. So which is going to be y is equals to 3 sine 30, because 2 times 15 is 30. So sine 30 is 0.5. So we're going to have 3 times 0.5 is actually 1.5. We multiply, we're going to have 1.5. So this place is 1.5. Then when it is 30, for x is equals to 30, so we're going to have y is equals to 3 sine 230, which is 3 sine 60. So sine 60 is 0.866. Well, 0.866 times 3 is 2.6, right? We round it up, so we want to have 2.6. So this is 2.6. The next one is when x is equal to 45. So let's use this place. So for x equals to 45 degrees, right? So now this one is going to be y equals to 3 sine 2 into 45, which will be 3 sine 45 times 2 is 90. So sine 90 is 1. So we're going to have 3 times 1, which is equals to 3. Here is 3. So the next one is for x is equals to 60. So we say for x is equals to 60. So we're going to have y is equals to 3 sine 2 into 60. So which will be 3 times 3 sine 2 times 60 is 120 degrees. So we're going to have 3 times, what is 120 sine 120? 0.866. So 3 times 0.866 is 2.598. So we can approximate 2.6 is equals to 2.6. So we have 2.6 here, right? The next one is when x is 90, because that of 75 has already been done. So we say for x is equals to 90. So we're going to say y is equals to 3 sine 2 into 90, right? So which will be y should be 3 sine 180 degrees. So which will be 3 times sine 180 is 0. So we have 0, and 3 times 0 is 0. So that is it. Here is going to be 0. So the next one is 105. x is equal to 105 degrees. So in this case, we're going to have y is equal to 3 sine 2x, right? 2 into 105. So same thing as 3 sine 2 times 105 is 210. So this one is going to be 3 times sine 210 is minus 0.5. So minus 0.5. So times 3 is minus 1.5. So we're going to say minus 1.5. The next one is 120. Say for 120. So we know that y is equal to 3 sine 2 into 120 degrees. So we're going to say 3 sine 120 times 2 is 240. 240 degrees. So sine 240 is minus 0.866. So we have to say 3 times minus 0.866. So multiply by times 3 is minus 2.6. So then lastly, we have for x is equal to 135. Y is equal to 3 sine 2 into 135 degrees. So this one is going to be 3 sine, what is 2 times 135? 270. 270. So this will be 3 times, what is sine? Sine 270 is minus 1. Wow. So we have minus 1 here. And 3 times minus 1, of course, is equals to minus 3. So this is minus 3. So now this is the table. Of course, we know that we're going to use this table to answer the B part, right? Alright, question 6b. The question says, using a scale of 2 centimeters to 15 degrees on the x-axis and 2 centimeters to 1 unit on the y-axis, draw the graph of y equals to 2 sine 2x for the value of x ranging from 0 degrees to 150 degrees. So now going back to our solution, as we've solved, we're going to plot the graph. Alright, from our solution, this was a table. So we're going to use this table and plot the graph. As you can see, these are the values for x and these are the values for y. So we're going to plot the graph of this. And remember, we have scale. From our question, it says that using the scale of 2 centimeters to represent 15 degrees on x-axis, right? So on the x-axis, we're going to use 2 centimeters to represent 15 degrees. So this graph is already in 2 centimeters each, right? So if that's the case, each of the box, this big box, is going to be 15 degrees. So that means, as you know, this is the origin. It will be 0. On the x-axis, the first one is 15 degrees. The second one will be 15 plus 15 is 30 degrees. Next one will be 15 plus 30 will be 45 degrees. Then next one will be 45 plus 15 is going to be 60 degrees. Next one will be 75 degrees. Next is going to be 90 degrees. Next is going to be 105 degrees. Next one will be 120 because 105 degrees plus 15 is going to be 120 degrees. This one will be 135 degrees. Next will be 150 degrees, right? So on the y-axis now, the question says we should use 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the y-axis. Remember that as we said that all the graph is already in 2 centimeters each. So 2 centimeters represent 1 unit on y-axis. So that means this place is going to be 1, 2, 3, right? Then this one will be -1, -2, and -3. Remember that this side of x is going to be a negative value. So this one will be -15 degrees. Next one will be -30 degrees. But if you check our values from the table, we don't have minus 15 and -30 degrees. We don't have any negative angle or negative degrees. So we don't need to put it. So next is for us to plot it. So in plotting this graph is very important for us to know the value of these small boxes in between the big boxes. Knowing the small boxes will go a long way. It will help us a lot. So in order to know the value of each small box on the y-axis, we're going to use the first value, which is 1 here, divided by the number of small boxes in between the big boxes. And we always have 10 small boxes in between these big box. So we're going to say 1 divided by 10, which is 0.1. So each of these small box on the y-axis is 0.1, because 1 divided by the 10 boxes will have 0.1. And on the y-axis, we're going to say this 15 degrees divided by the number of 10 boxes. So we're going to say 15 divided by 10 is actually 1.5. So each of these small box on the x-axis is 1.5 degrees. So if that's the case, let's go ahead. Now, the first thing, when x is 0, y is also 0. So that's the origin. We don't need to plot anything. But the next one is when x is 15 degrees, y is 1.5. And on the x-axis, this is at 15 degrees. And y is 1.5. Remember we said that these small boxes, the value of these small boxes on the y-axis is 0.1 each. So if the 0.1 and we need 1.5, this is 1. So that means if we count 5 boxes will give us 0.5, because 0.5 plus 1 will give us 1.5. So this will be the 1.5, right? So when x is 15, y is 1.5. So therefore they are going to meet here, right? Then the next one is when x is 30, y is 2.6. So now 30 is here, and on y-axis we're going to look for 2.6. Where is 2.6? 2 is here. Then we're going to count 6 small boxes, because each of the small box is 0.1. So 0.1 times 6 is going to be 0.6, and 0.6 plus 2, this 2 here is going to be 2.6. So it's going to be here. So now remember, when x is 30, y is 2.6. So they are going to meet here. So the next one is when x is 45, y is 3. When x is 45, y is 3. So we have 45 here, and y is 3. This is 3. They're going to meet here. Next is when x is 60, y is 2.6 again. So we say 60 degrees on x is here, and y is 2.6 again. And remember, this is 2.6, so they're going to meet here. Next is when x is 75, y is 1.5. When x is 75, y is 1.5. So where is 75? This 75 and 1.5 is going to be actually 5 boxes above 1. So it's going to be here. They're going to meet here, right? The next one is when x is 90, y is 0. When x is 90, y is 0. So this is 90 and this is 0, right? This is 0 and this is 90. So they're going to meet here. Next is when x is 105, 105, y is minus 1.5. So this is 105 and minus 1.5. That means there will be 5 boxes under minus 1. So we're going to say 105 here and minus 1.5 is going to be here. See? And where they're going to meet? They're going to meet here. Next is when x is 120 degrees, y is minus 2.6. So 120 degrees is here, then minus 2.6 is going to be 6 boxes under minus 2. So 6 boxes under minus 2. This is 2.6. These are 6 boxes. 2.6 is here. And they are going to meet here because it's when x is 120 degrees, y is minus 2.6. So they're going to meet here. The next one is when x is 135 degrees, y is minus 3. So this one, 135 degrees, y is minus 3 and this minus 3, and they're going to meet here. Then the last one is when x is 150 degrees, y is minus 2.6. So 150 degrees is here, minus 2.6. 6 boxes are under 2 minus 2. It's going to be here. So the next thing is to plot our graph, joining all the necessary points, right? So now using ruler to connect all the points we've marked, it will be better to use ruler because it will give you a straight line and it will be neat. Right, this our graph is looking neat and okay. So the next thing is to answer the sub question under the graph. That's question 6. It says use the graph to find the truth set of I 3 sine 2x plus 2 equals to 0. So in this case, we're going to resolve this in such a way that we are going to move these 2 to the other side. Right? If you move to the other side, it's going to be minus 2. Is that not? So we're going to have y is equal to minus 2. That's the meaning. Y is equal to minus 2. So we're going to locate minus 2 on the graph. If we get minus 2, then we'll trace to the value of x. So when y is minus 2, x is going to be what? So let's see. When it is minus 2, use a dot line at least so that it will distinguish it from other lines to where it will meet the graph. So here's it. So we have this. Can you see? Then we're going to trace it directly on x-axis. Use the ruler again. Can you see where they're meeting? Here. So trace it directly on the x-axis. You have something like this. So find the point here. Can you see? So now the question is, what is the point here? That's what the question is talking about. What is the point here? What is the point here? So it's very easy to get it. Why? Because this is 105. Remember we said that all the small boxes on x-axis is 1.5 degrees. So if this 1.5 degrees, how many boxes do we have after 105? So we're going to count the number of boxes here after 105 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and a half. That's 4.5 number of boxes. And remember that the value of each box on the x-axis is 1.5. So we're going to say 1.5 times 4.5. So it's actually equals to 6.75. And remember that it is after 105. So we're going to add this 105 so that we know the total points. It's equals to 111.75. So the value of this point here is 111.75. So that's what we're going to say. So our x will be 111.75, right? So when y is minus 2, this is the value of x, 111.75, and that is the true value of this. So the next one, that's CII, is 2 over 3 sine 2x equals to 0.25. So in this case, we're not going to move anything to the other side. We're just going to find the value of 0.25 on the y-axis. Then we'll trace it to the x-axis. So 0.25. So 0.25 on the y-axis. We know that each of the small box on the y-axis is 0.1. So 0.25 will have to count 2 boxes. That's 0.2 and a half of that, right? So it will be 0.25. So it's going to be here at the center between these boxes. So trace it. In this case, this one is going to touch 2 of the graph. You have one here, then keep on tracing it to the other part of the graph. And this is the second part of the graph. So trace it back down to the x-axis. So it's going to meet it here. Trace it down, and the other one is here. So I'm going to trace it here. Let's look for the point. It's meeting here, the graph, and trace it down. Good. So now, what are the points on the x-axis? Remember we said that when y is equal to 0.25, x will be what? So let's see. Remember we said that each of the small box on the x-axis is 1.5. So this one is, we have 1 and we have 2. So it's going to give us 3 degrees. So it's going to give us 3 degrees, the first one. Then the second one is on this box. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The ninth box. So 9 times 1.5 is going to be 13.5. Then plus 75, right? 75, this 75 degrees plus 75 degrees. So the answer is 88.5. We're going to have 88.5, right? 0.5. So when y is 0.25, x is 3 degrees and 88.5 degrees. So these are the true value of the equation.